You're already familiar with the big names, such as Fireblade, Goldwing, Africa Twin, but what if I told you some of Honda's best motorcycles aren't the ones stealing headlines or racking up showroom hype? They're the quiet assassins, the underrated workhorses, the bikes hiding in plain sight while everyone's busy chasing the usual suspects. Today, we're diving deep into 20 Honda motorcycles that are stupidly underrated. These bikes deliver way more than they get credit for. Some are mini beasts built for fun, others are futuristic oddballs, and a few are straight-up engineering marvels that most riders don't even know exist. We're talking about the ones you should be buying, the ones that fly under the radar but absolutely over-deliver. And whether you're a commuter, adventurer, or someone who just loves something different, there's a gem in here with your name on it. Number 20, the Honda CB650R. If you've ever walked past the Honda CB650R thinking, it's just another naked bike, you've made a mistake. A big one. This bike is a smooth-talking, quiet performer that doesn't scream for attention, and maybe that's why it's so underrated. But under the radar, it's packing heat. A 649cc inline-4 engine that sounds like it belongs in a sport bike, not a mid-tier commuter. It makes around 94 horsepower, and the way it delivers power is what sets it apart. It doesn't slap you with torque, it seduces you with a linear pull that builds beautifully as you twist the throttle. It revs high, it sings, and it does it all with grace. The styling? Straight out of Honda's Neo Sports Cafe lineup, which means sharp angles, muscular tank, and premium details like full LED lighting and that distinctive round headlamp. It looks expensive, and weirdly enough, it isn't. Most folks will drop coin on something like a Z650 or MT07, but the CB650R brings 4 cylinders to a 2-cylinder fight and still costs under 10 grand brand new. And in the used market, you can score a clean one for around $6,500 to $8,000 depending on the year. It doesn't get the love it deserves, maybe because it doesn't try to be loud or extreme. But if you're looking for a bike that's smooth, reliable, stylish, and just plain good without trying too hard, this one might be your perfect match. It's a sleeper in the best way possible. Number 19. Honda NC750X DCT. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. The NC750X doesn't look like a wild adventure bike, and it won't win a drag race. But the moment you ride one, something clicks. This isn't your average motorcycle. It's part motorcycle, part scooter, part magic trick, and that's what makes it so underrated. Underneath that ADV-like bodywork is a 745cc parallel twin engine tuned for torque and insane fuel economy. We're talking over 60 miles per gallon if you're gentle. But what really makes this bike special is the DCT, dual clutch transmission. You can ride it in full auto or flick through gears with paddle shifters on the handlebars like you're piloting a futuristic commuter pod. Now here's the part no one talks about. That fuel tank up top? That's not a tank. It's a massive storage compartment. You can fit a full-face helmet inside, or your lunch, or groceries, or whatever kind of chaos you bring on a Tuesday. The actual fuel tank is under the seat, keeping weight low and handling sharp. People who've ridden the NC750X will tell you it's the most sensible motorcycle they've ever owned. It's not built for hype, it's built to work, and it works beautifully. Daily commuting, weekend touring, even light off-road thanks to its long travel suspension. So if you want a bike that gets the job done, saves you gas money, lets you ride in traffic without clutch fatigue, and still has a little adventure in its DNA, this is it. But be warned, once you ride it, everything else starts to feel kind of old-fashioned. Number 18. Honda Rebel 1100 DCT. Imagine if Honda and Harley had a love child and then gave it a dual clutch transmission and sport bike reflexes. That's basically the Honda Rebel 1100. This bike is misunderstood. Cruiser fans think it's too high-tech, sport bike fans think it's too laid-back, but in reality, it's the most versatile cruiser on the market right now, and almost nobody's talking about it. Powered by the same 1084cc parallel twin from the Africa Twin, yes, the adventure beast, the Rebel 1100 brings 87 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque to the party. It's torquey, responsive, and unlike most cruisers, it actually handles. Like, really handles. You can throw this thing into corners and it won't fight back. It wants to play. And then there's the DCT. No clutch lever, no shifting, just twist and go. Or if you want control, pop it into manual mode and click through the gears like you're playing Gran Turismo. You get smooth downshifts, lightning fast upshifts, and zero stalling. It looks like a stripped-down bobber, and it's hiding serious brains underneath that retro skin. Cruise control, selectable ride modes, traction control, even wheelie control, on a cruiser. It's a weird blend, and that's probably why it doesn't get mainstream love. But the folks who've tried it, they'll tell you this is the cruiser that finally breaks the mold. It's not trying to be Harley or Ducati. It's its own thing, and it's doing it well. Number 17, Honda CRF 1100L Africa Twin Adventure Sports DCT. This one's a wolf in very well-tailored sheep's clothing. The Africa Twin isn't just another adventure bike, it's Honda's flagship off-road tourer, built to crush continents and still be comfortable enough to grab coffee afterward. The Adventure Sports version takes everything good about the Africa Twin and turns it up a notch. Bigger fuel tank? Check. Heated grips and cruise control? Of course. Taller windscreen, better wind protection, more suspension travel? All in. But the real secret weapon here, once again, is the DCT. You'll see a theme here with underrated Honda bikes. That automatic gearbox is a game changer. When you're bouncing through rough trails, having one less thing to think about, like clutching and shifting, makes a huge difference. The bike just adapts. Smooth downhills, confident uphills, instant response on the throttle. It's seamless even when things get gnarly. And despite its adventure pedigree, the Africa Twin is surprisingly comfortable on the highway. The ride modes let you tune in for relaxing cruising or full throttle dirt ripping. The touchscreen dash supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It feels like riding a tech-loaded SUV on two wheels. Now here's the crazy part. This bike often gets ignored for the BMW GS or the KTM 1290 Super Adventure, but the Africa Twin holds its own, and often for less money. It's one of the few big ADV bikes that feels light on its feet, thanks to smart chassis and low center of gravity. So if you want a bike that can ride across deserts, carve twisties, eat up freeway miles, and make you look like a Dakar pro, this is it. Just don't let the name fool you. It's not just for Africa, it's for everywhere. Number 16, Honda CB200X. Now this one's a bit of a sleeper. The CB200X might not be sold everywhere, but in the markets where it is available, especially Asia and Africa, this thing is making quite waves. Let's start with the basics. It's a 184cc single cylinder bike with upright ADV style ergonomics, decent ground clearance, and long travel suspension. But the secret sauce? It's built on Honda's ultra reliable Hornet 2.0 platform. That means you get city friendly performance and handling with a whole new sense of confidence and comfort even on rougher terrain. At a glance, it looks like a much bigger bike. The windscreen, the handguards, the sharp tank shrouds, all of it screams mini Africa Twin, and that's exactly what Honda was going for. They took an ordinary city bike and gave it a bold new personality. Now don't expect it to conquer the Himalayas, but if you're navigating broken roads, village trails, or even just urban potholes, this thing thrives. It's got an easygoing engine, phenomenal fuel economy, and a comfortable upright seat that makes longer rides surprisingly doable. The best part? It's dirt cheap, and still almost nobody talks about it. It's the kind of bike you buy once, ride daily, and 10 years later it's still starting on the first try. If you're in a region where the CB200X is sold and you don't at least test ride one, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's one of the most unintentionally cool bikes Honda has made in the last decade. Number 15, the Honda Grom 125. Let's get one thing straight, the Grom doesn't care what you think. It doesn't need to impress you with specs or intimidate you with speed. It's just here to have fun, and that's exactly what makes it one of the most underrated motorcycles you can buy today. We're talking about a 125cc mini bike that barely weighs 225 pounds. On paper, it sounds like a toy, but once you throw a leg over and ride it, you instantly get it. The Grom is hilarious, addictive, and wildly capable for a bike its size. It's also evolved. The 2022 refresh brought in a slick 5-speed gearbox, sharper styling, and a cleaner dash with a gear indicator and trip info. It can hit freeway-adjacent speeds around 60 miles per hour and sips fuel at almost 100 miles per gallon. Seriously. But here's the real secret behind the Grom's cult status: the community. People mod these things like crazy. Custom exhausts, extended swing arms, supermoto tires, even turbo kits if you want to get weird. You can personalize a Grom into anything you want: a stunt machine, a pit bike, a cafe racer, whatever. And because it's Honda, it's built like a tank. People abuse these bikes, drop them, wheelie them, slide them through parking lots, and they just keep running. No drama. It's small, it's ridiculous, and that's exactly why it's brilliant. The Grom isn't for everyone, but once you ride one, you'll understand why Grom owners never shut up about them. Number 14, Honda Muji MS01. Alright, let's get a little weird in the best way possible. Meet the MS01, a collaboration between Honda and Japanese design brand Muji. This isn't a motorcycle in the traditional sense, it's an electric moped, but it's such a unique hidden gem that it had to be on this list. The MS01 features a clean white frame, rounded retro-inspired lines, and absolutely zero clutter. No aggressive graphics, no fake vents, just simplicity. The MS01 is what happens when industrial design meets urban mobility, and it's gorgeous. Underneath the design is a 400-watt motor that gives you a top speed of around 25 miles per hour and a range of roughly 40 miles. It's not built for highways, it's built for cities, campus rides, suburban errands, and it does that job perfectly. What makes it underrated is how well it blends form and function. You get a comfy saddle, 17-inch wheels for better road grip, disc brakes, and a surprisingly smooth throttle response for something this minimalist. And because it's electric, it's whisper quiet and ultra cheap to run. Honda only sold this in select Asian markets, mainly China, and even there, it was a limited release, so it's rare. But it's also a glimpse into what smart urban commuting could look like if more brands took design seriously. It's not a Grom, it's not a CB, it's something else entirely. The MS01 is a lesson in how Honda can innovate outside of the performance bubble and make something beautiful just for the sake of simplicity. Number 13, Honda NM4 Vultus. If you saw this bike on the street and thought it was a prop from a sci-fi movie, you wouldn't be wrong. The Honda NM4 Vultus is one of the weirdest production motorcycles Honda has ever made, and yes, it's real. This looks like something Kaneda from Akira would ride. Futuristic bodywork, low slung profile, massive front fairing, it turns heads wherever it goes. And while most people dismiss it as a styling exercise, they're missing what the NM4 is really about. This bike is built on the same platform as the NC750, which means it's got the same rock-solid 745cc parallel twin engine, and you guessed it, Honda's DCT transmission. So it's not just a showpiece, it's actually a very good motorcycle, hiding behind some bold styling. You sit low in the saddle, almost like you're in the bike rather than on it. The seat has a backrest that flips up or down depending on your riding style. There's built-in storage, LED lights, a digital cockpit. Everything about this bike says 2029, even though it launched in 2014 and continued until around 2019 in some regions. And here's the kicker, it rides really smoothly. The weight is low, the throttle is friendly, and the DCT keeps it chill in the city. It's like a luxury scooter designed as a cyberpunk spaceship. Most riders either love it or hate it, but almost no one gives it credit for being one of the most original motorcycles of the last decade. If you want a bike that makes a statement without compromising on Honda reliability, the NM4 is one heck of a conversation starter. Number 12, Honda CB300R. You ever meet someone who walks in like they own the room, even if they're not the biggest guy in it? That's the Honda CB300R. This bike lives in that sweet spot between beginner-friendly and seriously fun. It's powered by a 286cc single-cylinder engine. Modest, sure, but it's wrapped in styling that looks like it belongs in the CB1000R family. Same Neosports Cafe design language, same sharp LED headlight, same premium feel, but at just over 300 pounds, this thing is light, like flick it with your fingers light. What makes the CB300R special is how grown up it feels without scaring away new riders. It's quick off the line, it handles city traffic like a champ, and it's agile enough to dance through corners on weekend rides. You've got a steel trellis frame, upside down front forks, radial mount brakes, real deal components, not budget leftovers. And let's not forget fuel economy. You're looking at over 70 miles to the gallon easily. Combine that with low insurance costs and bulletproof Honda reliability, and you've got a bike that's not just underrated, it's practically a cheat code. It's the kind of motorcycle that makes people do a double take when you tell them it's just a 300, because it doesn't look or ride like a 300. It rides like a CB. Number 11, Honda CB1000R Black Edition. Now we're stepping into the heavyweight division, and this bike is swinging with style. This isn't your average leader bike. It doesn't come screaming with race plastics or MotoGP colors. No, the CB1000R is what you get when you blend raw power with refined aesthetics. It's like James Bond in a street fight. Under the hood, you've got a 998cc inline 4 derived from the previous generation CBR 1000RR, so yeah, it's no slouch. Around 143 horsepower on tap, delivered with that smooth high-revving character Honda's known for. But the magic is in how it delivers that power. Not too twitchy, not too lazy, just right. The Black Edition takes the premium feel to the next level. Blacked out everything, a quick shifter, up and down clutchless gear changes, and an all-digital TFT dash that's crisp and customizable. Even the mirrors look like they were machined by a watchmaker. And yet, despite all that, the CB1000R rarely gets mentioned in conversations about naked street fighters. It's always MT10 this or speed triple that. But guess what? The Honda brings class to a genre that's often all about noise and flash. It's subtle, it's fast, and it's deeply rewarding for riders who want performance without ego. That's why it deserves a second look. Number 10, Honda CB500X. If motorcycles were tools, the CB500X would be the Swiss Army knife. This bike doesn't care about trends or internet clout. It's here to do the job, but it does it extremely well. With a 471cc parallel twin engine, the CB500X strikes a perfect balance between usable power and easygoing reliability. It's not about blistering speed, it's about comfort, efficiency, and dependability. What makes the CB500X underrated is how capable it is for the price. Upright ergonomics? Check. Tall windscreen for wind protection? Yup. Long travel suspension and 18-inch front wheel? You better believe it. And it handles everything from highway cruising to light trail riding like a seasoned pro. This is the kind of bike that's ideal for people who actually ride. Commuters, tourers, weekend explorers. It'll handle gravel roads, bad weather, and traffic without breaking a sweat. And the best part? It doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Even brand new, it's one of the best values in the ADV segment. Some riders overlook it because it's not flashy, but ride it once, especially after a long day in the saddle, and you'll understand why so many people fall in love with this bike. It's like that friend who's always there when you need them. Quiet, reliable, and surprisingly good at everything. Number 9, Honda CBR 500R. Now let's flip the script, because not all sport bikes are built for track days and chiropractor visits. The CBR 500R is what happens when you blend sport bike looks with commuter comfort. It's got full fairings, a sleek silhouette, and aggressive angles that make it look like a baby Fireblade, but don't be fooled. This bike is friendly, it's approachable, and it's seriously underrated. Powered by the same 471cc parallel twin as the CB500X, the CBR 500R delivers smooth, predictable performance that's ideal for both beginners and experienced riders who just want a practical daily ride with a sporty edge. You get enough grunt to cruise at highway speeds comfortably, plus a linear power band that's super easy to manage. And here's the kicker, it handles. The chassis is tight, the brakes are strong, and the riding position strikes a perfect middle ground between upright and full tuck. So whether you're carving twisties or heading to class, you're not sacrificing your spine for style. It doesn't get the spotlight because it doesn't scream for attention, but that's exactly why so many riders who own it swear by it. It's not trying to be the fastest bike on the road, it's trying to be the one you actually want to ride every day. And in that department, it absolutely delivers. Number 8. Honda Monkey 125. There's something special about the Honda Monkey, and not just because it looks like it rolled straight out of the 60s. It's cheeky, it's fun, and it's a living legend that somehow got modernized without losing an ounce of its charm. The Monkey 125 is tiny, like Toy Store tiny, but under that playful bodywork is some serious modern engineering. You're looking at a fuel-injected 125cc engine, disc brakes with ABS, and full LED lighting. It even has an LCD dash tucked neatly behind its chrome handlebars. So yeah, it may look vintage, but this thing is quietly loaded. The ride? Pure joy. The upright seating, short wheelbase, and light weight make it an absolute riot in the city. It zips through traffic like a scooter, handles potholes with a smile, and gets attention everywhere. You'll have full-grown adults chasing you down at gas stations just to ask, what is that? And here's the kicker, this isn't just a fun little gimmick, it's incredibly well built. The finish, the welds, the feel, it's Honda quality through and through. And with a claimed 150 plus miles per gallon, it's basically sipping fumes while putting a grin on your face. So yeah, it's small, it's quirky, but it's also one of the best examples of how a motorcycle can be both functional and full of character. The Monkey is pure soul on two wheels, and that's something no spec sheet can measure. Number 7. Honda MSX 125. You already know about the Grom, but let's talk about its global twin, the MSX 125. Sold in markets across Europe and Asia, the MSX is essentially the same machine, but in many ways it's the one that started the fire. When Honda dropped the MSX 125 back in 2013, people didn't really know what to make of it. A mini bike? For adults? That wasn't a pit bike or a joke? But once riders got their hands on it, everything changed. The MSX exploded into a movement. Today, it's one of the most modified motorcycles on the planet. Stretched frames, fat rear tires, upside-down forks, big bore kits, you name it, someone's done it to an MSX. And Honda leaned into it, giving the platform refreshes every few years, updated suspension, a 5-speed gearbox, better electronics, and sharper styling, all while keeping the essence the same: small, cheap, customizable, and outrageously fun. The MSX 125 is the rebel child of the Honda lineup. It's not trying to fit in, it's trying to stand out, and it's one of those rare bikes that brings together all kinds of riders. Veterans who want something playful, newbies looking for something manageable, and tinkerers who can't stop modding. It's more than a motorcycle, it's a blank canvas on wheels, and that's why it's still one of the most underrated bikes on the planet. Number 6. Honda CBR 650R. Middleweight sport bikes are a weird category. Some try to be budget super sports, others lean too far into commuter territory. But the CBR 650R? This one's got balance down to an art. Honda took the outgoing CBR 650F and gave it a full makeover in 2019, and the result was stunning. Sharper fairings, LED lighting, a new TFT display, and most importantly, a retuned 649cc inline-4 engine that made all the right sounds. At about 94 horsepower, it's fast enough to thrill, but not so aggressive that it becomes a handful. And here's what really makes this bike shine: it's refined. The power delivery is smooth, the throttle response is crisp, and the riding position hits a perfect balance. You're leaned in just enough to feel sporty, but not so far that your wrists are screaming after 20 minutes. What's wild is how few people talk about it. Riders looking for a sporty bike either go full super sport with a 600RR or drop down to a twin like the Ninja 400. But the CBR 650R exists in this Goldilocks zone, a legit 4-cylinder experience wrapped in everyday usability. It's a proper sport bike with street manners. Great brakes, solid suspension, and the kind of Honda finish that makes you look twice. It won't dominate the track, but it'll dominate your daily ride. Number 5. Honda Goldwing DCT. Let's be honest, when most people hear Goldwing, they think of a bike their dad's retired buddy rides while wearing socks and sandals. But that image is outdated, way outdated, because the modern Goldwing, especially the DCT version, is one of the most over-engineered, tech-packed, surprisingly agile motorcycles Honda has ever built, and somehow it still flies under the radar. The heart of it is that big 1833cc flat-six engine, smooth, quiet, and packed with torque. But the DCT version takes things to a new level. No clutch, no shifting. Just twist the throttle and go. You want manual mode? Paddle shifters on the bar. You want to ride like a luxury EV? Leave it in auto and float through traffic like a rolling spa. Then there's the tech. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth, cruise control, electronic preload adjustment. 4 ride modes, reverse gear, heated seats, heated grips. It's like riding a first-class lounge. But here's the plot twist. It handles. The 2020 redesign gave it a tighter frame, improved suspension, and weight reduction. For a bike that looks like a land yacht, it can corner shockingly well. It's not a sport bike, but it's no slouch either. The Goldwing DCT doesn't try to be cool. It doesn't chase hype. It just delivers one of the smoothest, smartest, most relaxing rides you'll ever experience. It's the ultimate touring machine, and it deserves way more love than it gets. Number 4. Honda CB500F. If there's one bike that consistently gets overlooked because it doesn't wear flashy fairings or aggressive styling, it's this. But don't let the plain Jane look fool you, this bike delivers. At its core is the same ultra-reliable 471cc parallel twin from the CB500X and CBR500R, tuned to offer smooth torque across the rev range. It's not the type of engine that wants to rip your arms off. Instead, it's the one that encourages you to go farther, take one more corner, stretch your ride just a bit longer. But here's the best part, the CB500F has no ego. It's light, neutral, confidence-inspiring, and just plain fun to ride. City traffic? No problem. Twisties on the weekend? Bring it on. Long distance ride? Toss on a tail bag and go. It'll do it all, without complaint. And while most people would rush to grab an MT-07 or a Z650 in this price bracket, they're sleeping on just how refined and balanced the CB500F is. The handling feels light, the suspension is well sorted, the throttle is predictable. For newer riders or anyone who just wants no-nonsense riding with a touch of fun, this bike is gold. It's the kind of motorcycle that doesn't chase attention, it earns respect the old school way, by showing up, working hard, and never letting you down. Number 3. Honda CT125 Hunter Cub. This one came out of left field. The CT125 Hunter Cub was supposed to be a fun retro throwback, a nod to the old trail bikes of the 60s and 70s, but what Honda ended up creating was a mini ADV monster. At a glance, it's adorable, a cute little 125cc air-cooled single-cylinder bike with high-mounted intake and exhaust, rugged rear rack, and chunky tires. But take it off-road and it reveals its true colors. This thing is tough. It handles trails, muddy paths, and rutted back roads like a mountain goat on Red Bull. It's simple, but that's the point. Kickstart backup, semi-automatic gearbox, and built like a tank. You could ride this thing through a jungle, fall off a cliff, get up, and it'll probably still start. And it's already earned a cult following in Southeast Asia, Australia, and parts of the US for one reason. It just works. It's the ultimate do-it-all bike for people who love to explore off the beaten path without hauling 600 pounds of ADV bulk. Toss a tent on the back and disappear into the woods. It won't complain, it'll just keep going. Most people laugh when they see it, until they follow one into the hills and realize it's leaving them in the dust. This is a modern-day Trail 90, reimagined, and it deserves way more hype. Number 2. Honda ADV 160. Alright, this might raise a few eyebrows, because yes, this is a scooter, but don't write off the ADV 160 until you really understand it. This isn't your average city runabout. It's Honda's take on the scooter that looks like an adventure bike, rides like a lightweight tourer, and still fits into tiny parking spots. Think of it as a baby ADV bike in disguise, with a twist-and-go throttle. You've got a 156cc liquid-cooled engine, fuel injection, disc brakes front and rear, and a Showa suspension setup that actually soaks up bumps. It's got decent ground clearance, an adjustable windscreen, under-seat storage, and even a USB charging port in the glove box. But what makes it special is that it's fun. Surprisingly fun. You can take it off the pavement, ride on dirt trails, explore the countryside, and it just keeps going. No gears, no shifting, no drama. Just flick the bars, twist the throttle, and cruise. It's perfect for urban warriors who also want a little weekend escape machine. And for the price, usually under $5,000, you'd be hard-pressed to find something this versatile, stylish, and user-friendly. Call it a scooter, call it a mini ADV, call it whatever you want. The ADV 160 is quietly one of the most underrated tools Honda's ever made. And now, we end with the ultimate hidden gem, a bike so exclusive, so exotic, and so outrageously expensive that most people don't even know it exists. The RC213 VS isn't just a motorcycle, it's a street-legal MotoGP bike. No exaggeration, it's the closest anyone outside of Marc Marquez's garage will ever get to owning a real Honda prototype. Released in 2015 in limited numbers, the RC213 VS was hand-built with titanium bolts, magnesium cases, and carbon fiber everything. It uses the actual V4 engine architecture from Honda's GP race bike, and if you unlock the race kit, you're looking at around 215 horsepower in a package that weighs less than a Ninja 400. But here's the twist, nobody talks about it. Why? Because barely anyone bought one. It cost nearly $184,000. Most get scooped up by collectors and locked away in climate-controlled garages, never to be ridden. And that's the tragedy, because this wasn't just a showpiece, it was meant to be ridden. Every part of it, from the chassis geometry to the throttle response to the insane brakes, was designed for one thing: domination. It's the crown jewel of Honda engineering, hidden behind a price tag so big it became invisible. But for those who know, the RC213 VS isn't just rare, it's legendary. So there you have it, 20 hidden gem Hondas that prove you don't need a flashy badge or a race pedigree to own something special. If you found a bike on this list that surprised you or maybe even made your dream garage, let me know down in the comments. And if you ride one of these underrated Hondas, shout it out. Let's give these bikes the love they've quietly earned.